So the most controversial position for Oklahoma, as everybody has mentioned it, is offensive line. I'll be honest. You know we've talked about it. There's no concerns for me, though. There are questions. We're going to answer those. Me and Coop's got a lot to talk about. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. That's my boy, Coop. This way. That's my boy, Coop. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Shout out to our sponsor for this video, BetUS. We appreciate them showing some love. Make sure you check them out. You can check them out in this link in the description below, as well as the pinned comment. 125% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. They also give you 10% back twice a year just because you're betting with them. So check them out. BetUS, link in the description below. Coop, we've got some stuff we've got to dive into. We've got to talk about the offensive line. And I'm going to be honest, man. Again, I've said this numerous times. I have no concerns. I do have questions, mainly because we all know who our fearless leader is when it comes to offensive line is Bill Beatonbow.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell me, do you have questions or do you actually have concerns? And this is a safe space.
So you start off by saying, what's the difference between a question and a concern, right? If you have a concern, a concern would be that you have not enough guys, you have not enough talent, or you have guys who just haven't seemed to get better. None of that's the case at Oklahoma. Right now, it's kind of like you move into a new house and everybody, brings you some dope furniture, and you just got too much stuff for your living room, and you can't fit it all in there. So you're like trying to figure out what the best organization looks like to make it look nice. I think that's what we have right here. Is there's a misnomer around that you have a bunch of guys who have never played football before, or you have a bunch of guys who don't have enough talent. The talent is extravagant. The snap count is a lot higher than most folks want to point out. So I have questions, and the questions are not worrying questions. It's just, how is this going to work out? What is the best five going to look like? What are the rotations going to be? And how good can this offensive line be? Not, can they be good?
Yeah, because you're right. We know what we have talent-wise. We, as a collective fan base, understand who is running the ship. We know that this ship is ran by our guy, Bill Beatonbow. We know that the way Beatonbow does things is that he makes sure that, we're supposed to be as elite as we say we are. So I have no concerns about him doing his job. So let's look at the line now. We got to look at the lineup because we've got at least 10 guys that I know can play today. Our two deep is there. So when you're looking at the left tackles, well, look at just the tackle position itself. Jacob Sexton, Spencer Brown, Michael Tarkin, and then Jake Taylor. That to me is your four that you know can play at the collegiate level in some capacity. Hearing rumors right now, I think I believe it was OU Insider may have mentioned this, or it may have been Scoop, can't recall. But I think I saw somebody tweet out about Logan Howland actually looking decent. Look like he's someone that's starting to come along. And we knew that he was a project because he was a tight end coming in, right?
Yep.
Put the pounds on him, and now he's balling. Tackle wise, who do you expect to jump out?
How do you narrow it down? Because I think that I'm down to Sexton, Taylor, and Tarquin. Started with Michael Tarquin. Michael Tarquin, he led one of the top rushing attacks in Florida history, as a freshman and a sophomore down in Florida. Dude rolls and moves out to Beach Booty Yoga in USC, and it doesn't look the same. So he comes back over here with Coach Beatonbow and with Schmitty. If you can't get right with those two guys, you can't get right. And it sounds like Tarquin has gotten right. Not in just the he's back to playing at a high efficiency. He also has position flexibility. He's been swinging around, playing a little left tackle, playing a little right tackle. So Tarquin is a guy that also brings in 1,135 snaps. So you're telling me the dude with 1,100 snaps ain't going to help your football team out when he's already produced in the SEC at a high level. Now he has a better strength and conditioning coach this year and potentially the best offensive line coach in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, because I know that you got thoughts on him too.
Yeah, no, I was gonna make mention that the thing that you pointed out, which I think is probably the biggest one. Shout out to our guy Stats by Popo over there in the court, but he pointed this out. These are the number of snaps that we have coming back, and I'm gonna post this picture up here for the people to see. We have Jacob Sexton 481. You've got Spencer Brown
1485.
1485. You've got Gary and Hatchett, 335. Heath Uzeda had 4. But Branson Hickman, 2,436 snaps. Troy Everett, 898. Fabichi Wewu, 1,612. Then Michael Tarkin, 1,135. Jake Taylor, 88. Logan Howland and Joshua Bates both have 4.
Hold on. I don't even need to do that.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
It's a lot of damn snaps.
So a lot of snaps, which that's kind of the point. It's, yes, this line doesn't have experience as a cohesive unit, but they got experience on the line.
Yeah.
Like, they've played offensive line together in some capacity. So, yeah, they know. They know how to play the game. Now we just need Beatonbow to refine them. Yeah. That's where I don't have any concerns. So, Kuba, as you mentioned snaps and playing, dog, the numbers right here is proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, it is. And again, you got a guy like Spencer Brown who, let's be honest, let's be real. In the spring game, dude kind of looked like he didn't belong. And, now you've had, let's see, that's March. We're sitting here in August. I mean, yep. You've had 4 months and change with Coach Beatonbow around those other guys, getting a chance to work together. And this is a family environment. So these guys are spending countless hours together. He gets a chance to, sit next to Fabichi Wewu, who, was an all-conference player. Branson Hickman, who Don Williams made comments, said, I hated that guy. He was not fun to go against.
They were enemies.
Garen Hatchett was on the Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line last year at Washington. Jacob Sexton, who some insiders like Josh McCuistion have said, this is the next guy. This is the next guy who is going to be the Bill Beatonbow first-round draft pick. So you take all these guys, you mix in a Jake Taylor, you mix in Heath Uzeda, who's been waiting his time and is the Ginger Avenger and is a monster. We don't even get to talk about EPL, who is getting people's eyes already. Isaiah Autry, who comes from a phenomenal family, genetics, and just who they are as people. So Joshua Bates, he got mad, Jay. He got mad when they brought in Hickman and he heard all the beef. But for everybody on the outside, we all were really, really worried. And all these guys decided, you know what? We can either listen to it, be frustrated, and be the weakness of the team, or we can get to work. And they got to work.
And that I 100% agree. They put in the work now to keep going. So from there, you look at the rest of the sides, right? Guards. And let's jump into guards, and we're going to talk about what our predictions will be as far as our depth chart. But before we do that part, shout out to the sponsors of this video, BetUS. They have shown us mad love. You can get 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits through BetUS. And they've got some great stuff for you to consider. Like right now, one of the big bets out there is Oklahoma to make the playoffs. Yes, it's plus 450. No, it's minus 650. Well, think Oklahoma can hit that 12 gamer? That 12 team playoff setup? I think there's a chance that Oklahoma can, and that plus 450 tells me that there's a feel good when it comes to Oklahoma. That's not that high of odds. If it was over 1,000, maybe we would have been concerned, but looks like there's a chance. So Go check them out. Link in the description below because BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year. And they give you 10% back on your net loss twice a year. Nobody else is doing that in the industry that I have seen. So we appreciate them sponsoring the channel. Check them out, BetUS. Link in the description below. All right, Coop. This is the one though, right? For me, guards, when you got Gary and Hatchett, the Fabici Waywus of the world, Heath Zeta, right? And then you start bringing in the young guys, right? Eddie Pierre Louis is starting to show out. By the way, it's Louis, it's not Lewis. People have been trying to tell me it's Lewis. It's Louis because I actually saw the phonetic spelling of it when I looked at the most recent roster here in June. It's Louis. Anyway, EPL as well as Eugene Brooks, man. All the big boys. That if there is one portion of the line we did not have questions on, was that interior. It's always been the tackles. We were curious because there's young guys, right? Sexton was injured at Florida State. He now says he feels even better than he did before. And then Taylor's now just inexperienced. We got to get him experience on it, right? So, cool. When you look at that interior, man, who you feeling like is going to probably be the ones that step up there? Because me personally, I think Uzeda is going to be the one that's going to end up getting one of those spots next to Fabici Wewu in a rotation with Gary and Hatchett, and probably seeing some of the young guys between probably EPL or Brooks, depending on whose body's formed. What you thinking?
This is the SEC, Jay. You cannot go in with 7 offensive linemen who have the capability of showing out. You need a minimum of 9 to 12 guys that are going to be able to rotate in and out. So I think that it does end up being Fabici and Heath Ozeda at the 2 guard spots. Which side? I don't. I'm not 100% sure. It's how does it work? What do the tackles? What does the feeling at the tackle spot go? Coach Biedenbow, he continues to recruit guys who are going to be multiple, just like this entire team. If you can play multiple spots and you can get the concepts, then that makes you a complete asset to the offensive line. Fabici, this is a cat who, I mean, him and EPL, forget the Louis or Lewis, just call him EPL, and that's easy. I can pronounce that much easier. But between Fabici and EPL, these are 2 guys that at their weight, they move. They are hauling. These are tanks. Fabici was a guy that I think that it was Gabe Eichert who said, seeing him at 339, 340, wondering, oh my God, can he play at that weight? Yes, he can, and he can move. And that is somebody that you do not want to come up on if you are a linebacker or if you are a safety. There ain't no linebackers or safeties, even in the SEC, who are going to roll up against a dude outweighed by 100 pounds and like the collision that's up in front of them. So, just where you roll in, guys like Garen Hatchett provides an absolute quality depth piece right there. And then don't forget, Troy Everett is a guy who's going to be coming off an injury too. So once he is fully healthy, he's a guy that can play either guard as a backup or a center.
Right. No, I 100% agree there. And that's kind of the thing that makes me jump out and look at the line. So for me, I've got Sexton, I've got Uzeda. I think that Branson Hickman in the end wins it, but I would not be surprised if Joshua Bates takes the starting spot because, the offense a little bit better. And I know he's been working his tail off.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give Hickman, just because of experience, a little bit more of a nod. But I think Bates plays a lot. Fabici Wewu, of course, I think he's the best offensive lineman we have right now on the team. And then you got on the right side the other Jake. So the law firm of Jake and Jake will be taking care of your bookends with Wewu, Hickman, and Uzeda. What's your line prediction for the fall?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sexton, Ozeta, Hickman, Wewu, and Taylor. And again, these are battles. These are absolute battles that are going to continue probably up through Houston to Lane. But what you need to have happen is when you roll out against Tennessee, you got to have a pretty good idea about what's going on. 10 of these guys need to play consistently and not just show up on the field and not be, not be a massive liability, but actually be a high grading, offensive lineman. And Jay,
Sure.
we always go back to it. Yes, some fan bases may take a shot at you and be like, "Oh, you just want to trust in your, offensive line coach, say he's going to work it out." I mean, that offensive line coach, yeah, you do.
Yeah, yeah. You can't say that for everybody, right?
No,
You can't say that for every position, for every team. But when you have certain dudes in place that you've seen year after year produce what you need to see produced, yeah, I kind of expect him to do his job the way that we want, and he's going to put us in a position to be successful. So, yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. I know that Beadbo's going to figure it out. He does it every year. And he's also recruiting a different type of offensive lineman compared to the last regime, especially with Schmitty there. Schmitty's putting them boys to work, and ask them, man, watching the videos of them talk about Schmitty and how you be calling him dog all the time be cracking me up. But thank y'all for pulling up. Hop in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to end up taking the reins on the offensive line? We would love for you all to engage. We would love to hear from you all. We'll jump in the comments and talk too. If you made this far, you like the content, go ahead, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'd love for y'all to join this family of Sooner fans, talking OU football, SEC, and college football in general. Having a blast doing it. All right. We'll have more of the previews going, so you can check out those links here in the description. Check out the videos in front of us, as well as check out our partners at BetUS. They've shown us mad love. 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Take advantage of that with the link in the description below. So check them out. And yeah, we'll chop it up with y'all about a day or two. Peace.